right, good evening. We're the Feedback Force, and we're going to present to you our findings on methods for obtaining feedback. We conducted this research to assist the Hilltop Mentors program in increasing as well as keeping participation from both mentors and mentees. My name is Kyle Reed. I'm going to present to you our primary research. I'll be followed by Carlos Rodriguez, who will talk to you about our secondary research, and then Amy Harmon, who will present our findings, and Morgan Becker, who will give our conclusion and our final recommendation. Primary research. Our primary research was conducted by distributing surveys through both email and hard copies. We distributed 365 surveys. Of those 365, 178 were returned. All 178 were determined to be valid. Surveys would have been deemed invalid had they included 3 questions that either had not been answered or had been answered incorrectly. Those 178 gave us a 93% confidence level that the data we collected would be representative of our target demographic. I'm going to be followed by Carlos, and he's going to present you our secondary research.
Okay, hello, I'm Carlos. So I will be talking about secondary research. So we did plenty of research. I looked through websites such as Forbes and Kissmetrics, and we determined that other than like getting involved via email and through the internet, we also realized that suggestion boxes can also be very effective in obtaining feedback for the organization. We understand that with suggestion boxes, we'll get more personal with the people involved and get like a response more like up close and personal. Another method was to reach out to participants and to talk to them about what needs to be improved about the program and what is good. That way they can know what is good for the program and what can be fixed, and to fix the improvements and keep it successful. And then lastly, we realized that setting goals that for the program to be successful, they could set goals. That way they could maintain success in the program and know what they could accomplish next to keep it going. And now I'll pass it on to Amy for findings.
Carlos, hi, I'm Amy. I'm going to be talking about some of the findings that we were able to get from our primary research that gave us some primary findings, and they were reinforced by our secondary research, and we were able to come up with 4 definitive conclusions. The first one being that surveys are the most effective form to receive feedback. Primary research showed that St. Edward students prefer to receive surveys through email, and that they're more likely to fill out surveys if there's some sort of incentive attached to them. Our second conclusion was that keeping surveys short maximizes the number of returns. Students said that the second most reason why they wouldn't want to fill out a survey is because it's too time consuming, and they particularly prefer 7 to 10 short, distinct questions like multiple choice or yes or no questions. Thirdly, it's important to understand the incentives of those who are being surveyed. The main reason students said that they would fill out a survey is because it's relative to their interest. Similarly, the #1 reason why they wouldn't want to fill out a survey is because it's irrelevant to their interests. So being aware of your audience and knowing what is relevant and not relevant is definitely going to impact the amount of feedback that is gathered. Lastly, following up with participants also influences the number of surveys that are going to be received or returned. Students strongly indicated that they'd be more likely to fill out a survey if they were able to have access to the results of the survey. So when you give out a survey, making it aware that they're going to have access to the results definitely influences the number of surveys that are going to be returned. So with that being said, I'm going to toss it over to Morgan, who is going to talk about recommendations.
Thank you, Amy. And like Kyle said, my name's Morgan, and I'll be discussing recommendations. First recommendation we made is to establish some goals. Figure out where and how you'll be sending out feedback. We thought a good way was to set up some suggestion boxes on tables at events or maybe by the door so participants can easily fill out feedback. Our second recommendation is to make it a little more personal. Learn about the participants before you actually send out the feedback. And we thought a good way to do this is to use focus group style methods. Our third recommendation is to create incentives for the participants to fill out the feedback. And we thought a good way was to maybe create a contest online and maybe announce the winners at an event or maybe through social media or something. And the last recommendation we made was to make it possible for participants to see how their feedback affected the organization. We thought a good way to do this was to bring it up at an event or maybe through email or social media as well. And now to conclude the presentation, I would like to thank my group, Kyle for the introduction and primary research, Carlos for the secondary research, Amy for the findings, and myself for the recommendations. And remember to keep the feedback more personal and create an incentive for participants to fill out the feedback. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and now we would like to answer any questions you may have.